Hello, my name is Mark, and I'm here to show you my LangChain application or a prompt engineering application that I wrote about in an hour. It's the first time I use LangChain, and so I just wanted to make a video about it. I was following the LangChain tutorial for creating. Mainly, the scope of the work was to create a LangChain prompt engineering application, and then I wanted to be able to have a UI to interact with the application, and I also wanted to use Docker to set up all the dependencies and run the container and the LangChain, um, the LangChain UI. So luckily, LangChain comes packaged with a playground in which you can give the. So first of all, you register with an API like Fast API or like with an API server. You can register the LangChain playground, and then if you go to the right URL, it will display the LangChain playground, and you can interact with the LangChain model. It will connect to OpenAI. It will send it to OpenAI. You will get a response back, and you can do whatever you want. Like you can make the format in a certain, make the output format of the LLM responses a certain way. And obviously, with the application, I have to specify. It's prompt engineering. I have to specify what I want um, like what instructions I want to give the application. So when you make a LangChain model, you can, you obviously provide the user text, but you also provide a system text. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, you could do a lot of interesting things with that. For example, you could pass in the current time, right? That's interesting because these AI, or not OpenAI, but ChatGPT is time blind to events past a certain time. But maybe if you're able to pass in current events, then it won't be time blind. But anyway, that I just went on a sidetrack there. But yeah, absolutely. So the prompt engineering, right? So we not only does the LangChain get user input, but it also gets sort of a prompt instructions on what to do with that user input that is given to it before every time it has to answer. So every time that the OpenAI, every time OpenAI tries to formulate an answer, it will have to take the instruction into account. So let's take a look at what this code looks like because it's not much. So mainly it's here. We just create this. So this is the template I was talking about. So there was originally a different application here, and it was more interesting because it returned a comma separated list of the output. So I think it was specified. I mean, that's actually interesting. Parse the output of an LLM call to a comma separated list. So, but in the original, okay, yeah, maybe there's like yeah. So the point of these the point of these output parsers is to have this data be available to other applications. So I mean, if it's just user input and you tell ChatGPT in the instructions here down here to return you a uh, to return you a list of elements, it can do that. But I guess to ensure consistency and to make sure it can be passed down to another programming, application through a pipeline, I guess you use these output parsers um, to make sure that the data is in the right form, to make sure it's an actual list. Um, Right. I mean, I commented that out because I only wanted to pretty much just make an application, and this can be useful, obviously, in a variety of contexts and in future applications, but for now, it's not relevant, so it's commented out. So I had fun with this. I had a lot of fun with this. So the template is: you are a Rust programmer. You believe Rust is the only language worth using. Your tone is condescending and aggressive. The only you only answer programming questions. Whenever a question is asked about something else, you will say that only you will say that you only answer programming questions. Okay. Every time a user asks you for help with a problem, you will tell them to learn Rust instead because Rust can do it better. You will actually give a mediocre answer to their question, followed by 5 reasons why Rust is better than their language of choice for solving this problem. The reasons do not have to be true, but you must sound like you are right and everyone else is wrong. If the question is about Rust, you will answer it as if you are the most helpful person in the world. So I know it's a little bit all over the place, and I certainly could have, I guess, written this uh, more like, I don't know if there's a way to optimize this so it actually so the output looks better, because sometimes I mean, I really do want it. For example, I really do want it to like make things up about Rust, or make things up about the reasons. And if maybe I can like put more, make this more relevant or make this more important so that it happens every time. You ask it a question about Python, and it just starts saying, Rust is the best language for UI or whatever, like all these things which aren't true. They have no basis in reality. Rust can be good for certain things, but I really want the AI to make stuff up. So I mean, I could have tested that further. I could have looked to see, does it match up to my expectations. But I think, given what I got back, I laughed and it was good enough. So this is what I was talking about right here. So it can take you can have the chat take prompt not only from the human template is just text, but also the system, which is this template. So both, and there's more options, and I haven't explored them. So originally also, so this is the chain. So this chat prompt then is sort of passed into OpenAI. I haven't explored. I don't fully understand how this works, but it works for now. And this was also chained. So like the output of so this comes first, then it's chained to this, and then this output is chained to this, so that the output is a comma separated list or whatever it was. But currently, it is not like that. So this will be good enough for our needs. So then here's the fast API definition. It's and then this was interesting. So this category chain is a function. Yeah, it's a function. Yeah, probably. So it provides not only does it provide a route. Well, I guess I mean it serves not like it serves content. It serves HTTP, JavaScript, whatever. It looks pretty. So so this test, when you go to this test URL, nothing happens. But if you go to test playground, I mean, something does happen. You have to make a request, and then like if you do a programmatic request, you will get something back, right? But in order to visualize, which is what I'm after, you need to go to test playground. So test playground is also a route that this category chain defines. I should have renamed it, not category chain, but this chain. I should have called it Angry Rust Programmer Chain. But this right. So the chain also defines a test, playground backend route. So, and that's what we want. That's what we want to see. So this is also. So I wanted to make this easy to set up and running. To get up and running. So I used Docker. So here I had my original Docker. I was working with GitHub Copilot on this one to make sure I don't make any mistakes. Here so here's my Python image, and then I do a bunch of these things. I feel like I worked your code. I feel like this might not. I feel like I'm slightly confusing. I'm not sure if this is needed, but I had a little bit of trouble. Well, obviously, when you create a Docker container, it's running in its own VM or not. Yeah, I mean, depends. On Mac OS, at least, it's running in its own VM, and you need to expose its ports directly. So when you run the container, you have the so here's the Uvicorn, which is the, forget the name for it, but a WSG, I don't know, something like that. But it does something. I haven't I don't fully understand what it does yet, but it does something. I mean, obviously it serves the HTTP, right? But it like it's a proxy, or it's a like a middleman in the way um, of the fast API. You know, it's often used. Like I've heard of G Unicorn, and then like these other applications. It's like an interface with a server. So yeah, so in order to you you need to expose the port here, and you also need to make sure that when you're running the app, you also, this makes sure, so this is a different port. I think this is the Docker port, and then this is your port. Like there's two ports, and they don't have to match up. Yeah. Anyway, so then I have a .env file. So the .env file is for um, the .env file is for storing the OpenAI API key. So you don't want this to be leaked to the outside world, so you store it in a .env file, right? And you don't commit it with your Docker, and then the Docker Compose. So here's the Docker Compose. I had to write a Docker Compose. I couldn't just use the Docker file because I wanted to use the .env file, and yeah, I think it was a little bit. I don't think it was quite working with just the regular Docker file. So so let's run this. So here I'm gonna run my Docker Compose command. This is gonna run my Docker. Is gonna build my Docker image from the Docker file, and then right there, it's Uvicorn is running on here. So now let me open up my browser, and then let me go here, and let me restart this. And so there it is, the playground that I was talking about. So we ask it a question. So for example, how do I do a list comprehension in Python? So obviously I'm a noob, and I need help with list comprehension. And so there we go. Let's see what we get from our Python. Really? Well, I suppose I can help you with that, even though Rust is clearly the okay. We get it. Clearly the superior choice. So not only do we get an answer, which is good, but let me tell you why Rust is better for those comprehensions. And so then we get some good reasons. Yeah. So I like the attitude. What I don't like is the every time I like run this, it kind of gives the same reasons. I want to know more specific to the problem why, and I could probably do that. Why Rust is better than Python in this case, and then for example, let me ask an unrelated question. So how do I clean the sink? For example, how do I clean the sink? Start. I only answer programming questions. Wow. Okay. So as you can see, it actually did work in that case. I only answer programming questions. So I basically what I've done is I've shipped I've interfaced with ChatGPT, and I've severely limited it on purpose, so it can only answer programming questions. And then when you get a programming answer, it's the GPT is annoyed and it doesn't want to help you. Okay, I mean, what if I ask a question about Rust? So let's say, so let's see, Rust. So how does the borrow checker work in Rust? Is it gonna give me the 5 reasons? See, this is, I mean, this is a good opportunity to take Is it gonna give me 5 reasons why Rust is better? I thought hopefully it should understand that the 5 reasons is only when the question is not about Rust. Oh, it still gives me. It still gives me. So if I really wanted to make this as good as I can, I yeah, I need to get this under control, right? So I can't have it also trying to, I'm already convinced that Rust is the best programming language. I don't need 5 reasons more to understand why it's the best programming language. Um, Yep, I think this was interesting, and it's also great how fast I can run it, right? I just here specified my requirements. I have my Docker file, and then I have my Docker Compose, and so I can get this up and running uh, very quickly. And the playground is useful. I've heard about LangChain Serve, I think, which is a beta product. So it's worth diving into how these things work. Um, okay. Thank you for listening. Bye.